You know, as bad as it might feel to be a Phoenix Suns fan right now, you could take solace knowing that at least you're not the Sacramento Kings.
No balls, no class.
Embarrassing.
Hello, everybody, and welcome into the PHNX Suns pregame show, of course, brought to you by Gila River Resorts and Casinos. You do you. At Gila River Resorts and Casinos, visit playatgila.com for more details. I'm Aaron. That's Steven. That's Espo. Noah behind the Mac, making all the magic happen. We appreciate all of you being in here right now. Mark, Steve Keim, School of Drinking, Nifty, Kara, Leo, Ogre, all of y'all. We appreciate every single one of you. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Of course, make sure you are coming back here for our post-game show as your Phoenix Suns look to carry over the momentum from their Christmas Day victory over the Denver Nuggets against a Luka-less Dallas Mavericks. Gentlemen, how are we feeling?
Well, I'd like for them to watch the pregame before they remember to come to the
I just want to put it in their head, you know.
Okay,
I want to remind Devin that we're going to be here after the game ends, no matter what.
Much like I tell my wife, I got 30 good minutes in me, all right? So let's
30?
Let's do this, all right?
Good job, man.
All right, let's go.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did we have a Blue Chew ad on today, or are we just jumping around?
I'm just, come on, let's
Steven,
go.
You just got back from vacation.
I literally just got back, and this is what we're doing already.
Well, you want to talk basketball, Steven?
I mean, I'm just saying there's a lot of other things we could have talked about instead of what
like
this
what?
man just,
What do you want to talk
anything,
about?
but literally anything.
I'm talking about what I talk to my wife about the pregame show, all
Hey,
right?
no class, no balls.
I mean, come on. Come on, it's Steven. Get your head out of the gutter.
Hey, Kara says impressive.
God.
Hey, I hope you have more than a good 30 minutes for post game, because
God.
those usually go an hour. But let's get to this game first. Let's start it off with the injury report as we make Steven laugh. Welcome back, Steven. Some star power out tonight. Devin Booker, Grayson Allen, Bol all still out for the Phoenix Suns. Of course, Book, the big one there. Grayson still in concussion protocol. Book dealing with left groin soreness. Over on Dallas' side, not the pinnacle of health either. Luka Doncic out after straining his left calf on Christmas. He's going to be out for an extended period of time. Dante Exum, as he usually is, unfortunately, on the injury report, also out. And Derek Lively was questionable coming into tonight with a left hip contusion. He is ruled out. Obviously, no Booker, no Luka. What are your initial thoughts, Steven?
It takes a little bit of jump from this game, from this matchup, but these two teams are historically aligned in terms of having fierce, highly contentious type of matchups with one another. The history is as thick as it gets in the Western Conference between these two across multiple generations of it. I don't expect for this to be shortcoming in terms of providing that. I think it'll still have some fireworks. It's just going to look different without two of the most main characters in it for this chapter of it.
Yeah, look, the Suns can't fall asleep tonight. It's easy to look past or kind of not consider a team as dangerous when their main guy is out. But this Mavs team is 6-2 when Luka doesn't play this season. Kyrie is still that guy, especially when it's just him running the offense. So if they don't come out with the same kind of passion, heart, and hustle on the defensive end tonight, they're going to be in for another rude awakening. This is not an easier game or an easy game just because Luka isn't playing. So they got to come out with that same kind of passion and rev it up. Even though they're 2-0 this year against the Mavs, there's no sleeping at the wheel tonight.
No, there's no sleeping at the wheel for the Phoenix Suns at all at this point, because I talked about it. We had a pregame show exclusively for our diehards in our diehard Discord. We're just chatting it up before all of this. And I mentioned that the Suns are not at the point where they've earned any sort of rest or taking your foot off the gas just after one win. You're still trying to establish what your identity is, and you're doing it without two key rotational pieces, of course, Grayson Allen and then your superstar, Devin Booker. This is what head coach Mike Budnholzer had to say about Book and Grayson's injury pregame.
Yeah, I think similar answer to the other day. And he's making good progress. We feel good about it. He's still got a little bit more to go, but we feel good about kind of he's progressing as expected.
Are you expecting him to play tomorrow?
No, he will be out tomorrow.
Okay. And is Grayson just a matter of just going through the protocol? I know they kind of got some shots up the other day. Is that just simply that, and then will he need a ramp up to get back, or you feel like once he's through with the protocols, he'll be ready to go?
Yeah, Grayson, has got to work through the protocols. Feel good, get his work in. I don't know that I would call it a ramp up, but obviously there's the NBA protocols that he's got to get through, and then just for us and for a guy to play in an NBA game, he's close, and so I think we'll just see how the next 24 hours go, and then the next I think we don't play for 2 days after tomorrow, so just continue to monitor him and make sure he's in a good place, and when he's ready to go, he'll go.
He'll be out tomorrow.
For Grayson, that decision I do not think has been made. It's still to be determined.
So no book tonight, no book tomorrow, no Grayson tonight, maybe Grayson tomorrow.
It looked tough when you don't have your superstar Devin Booker, because as a superstar, you need him out there, and that superstar level talent
doing
is
superstar
so important,
things
to be there. Look, I know that. Take your time with Devin Booker. Don't rush him back. I was worried the bright lights of Christmas were going to be another, I got to get back out there moment. Don't. Take your time, fully heal. Grayson Allen, you don't screw with a concussion either. So whenever he's out of that protocol and good to go is just fine. Take your time on that too, because you have enough to carry it. You saw it on Christmas night. You just need to show up. And that's the big question is, will they? And even with those two guys, we've seen them not show up from night to night.
Yeah, and Steven, you weren't able to be with us on our Christmas postgame shows. You were at home visiting family. What did you take away from that game that you're hoping to see carry over tonight?
I mean, honestly, a whole lot of what we talked about before I left for vacation. Ryan Dunn has no reason. There's no rhyme or reason why he should not be playing main minutes for this team. I mean, I'm not talking 10 or even 12 minutes. He should be playing no less than 15, depending on what the matchup is. And when you got Devin Booker and Grayson Allen out, that should be easy at 20 plus.
Yeah.
Regardless of who the matchup is right now. And you saw the spark. He did not start in that first game against Dallas. They had a terrible start in terms of the tone set for that game. And you see the shift just 2 days later when they played against them on Christmas night. He comes out, he's picking up Jamal Murray 94 to 90 feet. And they're causing all types of chaos with multiple efforts stemming from a lot of his activity at the point of attack. And then that spills into his offense, him knocking down some threes, good cuts, setting some screens here and there. So with Ryan Dunn, that's the biggest thing. He needs the runway to do what he does and just continue to build.
Look, I mean, we talked about this. Eric and I talked about this on Christmas night. It's not the offense that's holding this team back.
Right.
It's the defense. And even if you look at cleaning the glass, the Suns ranked 30th in the percent that they give up in corner threes to opponents. Last year they were first, right? You look at it and they ranked 24th worst in the league at 3-point percentage surrendered to opponents overall. This is the difference here. Is that defense in particular on the 3-point line, but overall, if this team's going to even be as good as last year's team, they have to refine themselves on that end of the court. And offensively, they're some of the best in shooting percentages, right? So if you get even passable defense, I think it swings the pendulum more in your favor. We saw that on Christmas night. Do the rotations stay the same way? Does Ryan Dunn play tonight? Does Josh Okogie play tonight? How much and what's the effort on defense? That's going to determine so much of this season. And that's just the stats bear it out and the eye test bear it out.
And to like that, what the stats tell me from that, which matches the eye test, this is the team that's spent a lot of time in rotation because they can't contain the ball. Whether that's pick and roll or any other context, if the person that's guarding the ball gets beat, everybody else has to overreact to the ball from there. And then teams are good making a pass when an advantage is presented to them, especially that early in the shot clock. So that's where all of the money in the bank is right there on the defensive end. The offense is going to figure itself out naturally with the way that the roster is constructed. Will they care enough about defense? It's not even will they do good enough. Will they care enough for a full 40 minutes or at least in spot minutes.
Well, I think a good start to that tonight, Mike Budnholzer rolling with the same starting five that he had before. Ryan Dunn in there instead of Royce O'Neal. Tyus Jones, Bradley Beal, Kevin Durant, Yusuf Nurkic. And we mentioned Kyrie Irving. We could talk about Kyrie Irving forever. I mean, probably the best handles of all time. He could drop 50 on you like that. He's definitely dangerous, but there are other threats to this Dallas team that's going to need to be contained. Wyatt asked earlier, how's Klay Thompson been playing? What have you seen out of Klay Thompson on his new team so far this season, Steven?
One of the best shooters of all time, no less than fourth best shooter of all time to ever grace the hardwood. And he's in a situation where he has two primary ball handlers and a system that all can support his greatest strength, which is shooting the ball. And he's getting as clean, if not more clean shots with the Mavericks right now than he got in the tail end of his tenure with the Golden State Warriors. And for a player that shoots the ball that well, when he's getting that clean of looks and they're more predictable as well, he's going to be great, and that's exactly what he's been for this team, just what they wanted him to be.
Yeah, I mean, he had 4 3-pointers the other night, shot 10 of them on Christmas night, passed Reggie Miller for 5th all-time on that list. He's had a game where he hit 7 this year. Like, that's the guy you got to watch tonight. Because as I stated, and the stats show you, they're giving up far too many easy looks from 3. If you give that to Klay, you're done. I mean, you could get blown out by Klay himself in that case. So, unlike the other night that we saw, Ben Simmons get double teamed and they left open Cam Johnson. Make sure you know where Klay Thompson is at all times. Leave somebody else open, and if you get beat by somebody else, so be it. Don't let Klay do it tonight.
Yeah, and that's the thing is you don't have your full array of star power, offensive firepower to the point where you feel like you can just sleepwalk into outscoring the Mavs tonight. Because like you mentioned, Klay can light it up, Kyrie can light it up, and Dallas is a well-coached team. And Steven, you mentioned earlier, there is bad blood between these teams. Every time they play, something happens, whether Grant Williams on the team, whether Klay Thompson is on the team, and we all know, I mean, Book's not playing, but there is that little bit of rivalry there as well. It is going to be interesting to see what goes on in both teams tonight, missing some key pieces, because Derek Lively missing for the Mavs is really big, and we mentioned Grayson Allen, a massive part of this team. I'm looking at Yusuf Nurkic, who the last time that he played the Mavs, it was one of those, man, what the hell are you doing first halves? And then the only reason why they were able to get it into overtime was because Yusuf Nurkic had himself one hell of a second half. Can he be consistent? Can he play within himself? I know I didn't like the 3-point attempts that he had against Denver, but other than that, he played a really complete game on Christmas, Espo.
Well, it depends how Jason Kidd plays it without Derek Lively tonight. Does he go small? Do they try to take the advantage with Nurk and just try to run more than play through a big man, where maybe they with Lively would have done a little bit more that we've seen with him. Like, that's going to determine it. I think if they go small, the Suns are going to have to try to punish them early with Nurk to force them out of it. If not, Nurk's going to wind up off the floor, and you're going to have to figure out, can Plumlee stay out there? Do you have to give Oso extended minutes, or do you have to go smaller as well? This is a Mavs team that's deep too. And so it's going to be interesting tonight. I don't feel good about it, but I haven't felt good about anything in a while with this team. So
for me, it's Christmas was cute. Like, it was really cute, but any team can have a good game against a good team.
Thank you.
This team is not constructed to just be good for one-offs. This team was built to sustain that level. Get back in alignment with that. It's not going to take one game. It's not even going to be 2 or 5 games. It's going to take a 10 to 15 game stretch where you're showing that we might have some highs and lows, but we're getting the wins at the end of these games, and we're figuring out what each game is demanding from us and answering that directly and doing that in a way that's confident, that shows that we're here and we're serious about this. So it's all going to be a build-up for me, but that was a step in the right direction. But one step is not going to be it all for me.
And I felt that way on Christmas, too. Obviously, I was a little bit more jubilant than Espo, because I am very much an in-the-moment type of person, as far as if you show me something good, I'm going to feel good about it. But then once you kind of let it sink in, it's like, I'm not going to make this broad claim that you're fixed, because the Phoenix Suns are far from fixed. And especially right now. And we bring up the Orlando Magic, but many other teams do this when they lose a big piece, when they lose a massive, not even just a superstar, but like a key rotational piece, a starter or the sixth man coming off the bench like a Grayson Allen would be. How you respond to that determines how you are when you're fully healthy. That's a mindset thing that carries over. And this is not a team that, let's say, even if they make the Jimmy Butler trade, if they can pull that off, if they make a trade along the margins for Nick Richards or for somebody else that we're not even talking about, if you don't prove that right here, right now in this situation that you're going to try, which I know is like a very basic word to put it, but it feels like that's what we need to see. You need that consistent effort. You need to show up and play like tonight is important, despite it being December 27th. But it is important. Putting everything tonight and stringing wins together is something this team has not done unless everybody has been on the court together. And I talked to Tim Legler about a month ago and he said, when you miss a Kevin Durant, when you miss a superstar, it's hard to judge a team based off that. And while I agree in like the long term, you're not going to be able to say this is a championship team and evaluate as such without their superstars out there. You can still see an identity. And right now, the Suns' identity is that they do not string together those wins. They do not continually put together that type of effort. They have to start changing that tonight, no matter who's playing, who they are playing, and what they feel like is on the line. It's a smaller game. It's not Christmas Day. It's not New Year's Eve. But you need to play like your life depends on a win tonight.
I don't even need I need beyond just showing some hustle. This team has to enjoy being out there, right? They on Christmas Day, you could see that they were enjoying being out there. They were having some fun. Like it seems like such a dumb thing, but you can tell the bad teams when they're having zero fun playing together. And I don't know if that's chemistry. I don't know if that's off the court stuff. I don't know if that's just personality sometimes, but they have to be out there playing as one, having fun, and doing it on both ends because the excitement on the defensive end translated over on the offensive end on Christmas night, and you need to see that extended to get there.
And you spoke to identity, and the Mavericks, like Espo mentioned in the opening, have missed Luka for 8 games. They're 14-4 in their last 18 games. And all his games missed have been in this window. They've won a handful of those games when he hasn't played. And those against like high-level teams. It's not like they were playing like Charlotte. No disrespect to Charlotte, but that's a lot easier of a game than when you're beating someone like San Antonio, who the Suns had struggles with in teams of that ilk. Yeah. That's a team that knows how they're gonna look, regardless of if their star player is there or not. And they lean into other parts of their identity to counterbalance when they lose someone that's a high-end talent like that. Yeah. The Suns have to get in that space themselves.
I mean, take Christmas, for example. After Luka went out, they were down 22.
Yes.
They force it to a 2-point lead late in that game against Minnesota. This is not a team that just rolls over and dies, which the Suns have been in those situations. That's identity. It's fighting no matter what, and even when those odds seem astronomical on the biggest stages.
Well, you want them to have fun. You know what they say. Look good, feel good. Let's take a look at the jersey matchup for tonight. It is the purple. Espo, I know you love these purple jerseys. Going up against the pretty basic white ones for the Mavs.
Yeah, if you feel good because you look good, the Mavs are going to feel like crap tonight because that's what these uniforms look like. It's bland white with a basically out-of-the-box font and really crappy numbers. So there you go, Dallas.
I do like their, it's grown on me, their city edition uniforms that are like the white and the gray. I like the court that goes along with that, but these suck.
That uniform is a big D, as in disgusting. Right?
Hello, that's a crazy, crazy comment. Let's go ahead and take a look at our score predictions for today. Again, a massive one. The Suns need to win. All 4 of us have them winning, but by a close margin. Espo, where are you going with tonight?
I went 4 because you know what? Everybody called me a Grinch, so why don't I show
that is the biggest one that we have tonight. Pause, Steven.
Yikes. Lord have mercy. I have the Suns by 3. I think it's going to be a back and forth matchup that takes it into clutch time, and then the Suns figure out how to still won again at home.
A big clutch win would be nice. Gerald has the Suns winning by 2. I am the least confident at Suns by 1. Kara says Suns by 3. Drop your win predictions down in the chat. We appreciate all of you joining us here on the PHNX Suns pregame show. Make sure you hit that like button right after you comment your score prediction, and you subscribe to PHNX Sports, because you will also be here as our postgame show will go live right after the final buzzer. But what do our friends over at Bet365 think that is going to happen tonight? Let's take a look at the line. Steven, it's a toss-up.
Yeah, very much a toss-up. I think they considered that the franchise cornerstones of both teams are not available. And in addition to that, some other players on the periphery as well. Giving this pretty much a 50-50 toss-up in a sense. The Suns' money line is -115 and their spread is -1. And on the other side for the Mavericks, their money line is -105 and the spread is +1.
You know, it's interesting when the odds makers go,
I don't know.
I mean, but there's one in the chat that feels like he or she knows pretty well. It's Mr. 321 Soccer 321. Suns lose by 10, but when the guy has soccer in his handle, I don't trust it. So
I guess we'll just say that's nil. The point is nil.
I have soccer bias, all right?
Yeah, you hate soccer, you hate wrestling. What do you like?
I like decent basketball, so
hopefully you like tonight then. We'll see. You know what I like? I like where our standings are, because it's time for our pre-game picks presented by our friends over at Bet365. Download the Bet365 app. Use code PHNX365 when you sign up and find out why, whatever the moment, even if Espo hates it, it's never ordinary. Over at Bet365, disclaimer, must be 21 plus and physically located in AZ. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP and text NEXT-STEP to 53342 or visit problemgambling.az.gov. I'll tell you what, I'm not calling that number anymore, baby.
Hold on a second. Before we get to this, I can't let this go.
What?
Mr. 321 Soccer 321 says, we're actually better without Devin Booker, by the way. Hope y'all know that. Then why'd you pick him to lose by 10?
That's a good point. You gotta answer that, Mr. 321 Soccer.
Anyways, go ahead.
It says supports my soccer team. My support is ass. Well, welcome into the Phoenix Suns. I'm sure you're going to have a great time. Steven, what are you putting your money on tonight?
I got Kyrie Irving.
Holy hell.
I got Kyrie Irving at 33.5 points and assists combined. I got Kevin Durant at over 25 points scored. Klay Thompson, like we talked about, having another good game, knocking down 3 or more threes. Kyrie Irving, in addition to his points and assists, knocking down 2 threes, and then Bradley Beal scoring over 21 points in this game.
Espo?
All right. Mine, that's not the full thing. There's multiple legs to this. So why don't you go? And
okay, well, let's go with mine. It's okay. It's okay. The future champ is here. Let's see what I'm putting my money on tonight. This is a boosted bet from our friends over at Bet365. It's a simple, beautiful 3-leg parlay. Kevin Durant, 25-plus points. Kyrie Irving, 25-plus points. Tyus Jones, 20.5 points and assists combined. That's a 50% profit boost right there, thanks to our friends over at Bet365, who bailed me out last game as well, at a plus 420. Espo, what are you ripping tonight?
Right. I could have just kept that, not told you guys. And,
I was about to say plus 550 would have been nuts for that.
But no, it is Dallas. It's a Phoenix Suns money line. Kevin Durant plus 25 points. Bradley Beal plus 25 points at a plus 550. That is boosted odds from a plus 475. So there we go.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at our standings. Oh, what's that? Who's that all the way down there? All the way down in the red?
Hold on. Okay.
Negative 115 Espo?
Hold on. I'm nowhere near the depths you found yourself in.
Oh, I'm sorry. Are we talking about the past or the present?
You're still $138 away from the winner.
Not after I win tonight, baby.
Run your mouth when you get closer to the first guy.
So what? I can't talk trash when I'm down 200. I get it. I understand that. Fine. Y'all were giving me so much crap, but all of a sudden I'm in the green. You're negative triple digits, and I can't talk to you.
Because
it make sense.
Because I still got the championship belt, and until one of you schmucks come and take it, I can talk all the trash I want.
Meanwhile, the person in first place is the quietest.
I was about to say, why I gotta be a schmuck? I took my L's in silence, and I'm winning this.
You're not. I was directing that at the one that won. I appreciate.
Don't tell me what it is next
your path to victory, my friend.
I respect Steven. I'm rooting for Steven.
Look,
if I can't win, I hope Steven wins.
If Steven wins, I'm fine with it. If you win, we got
this is
major
really just
B.
me versus you.
It is. Like, Steven can do whatever he wants.
We
right
got a lot of
now.
work to do to catch up, Fred.
Yeah.
I'm
So-
Homer Simpson right in the middle of this, just backing into my bush.
Rickety puts it best, says SPG is a classy winner. We are classy. We are not classy winners or losers. We're
No
going to go at each
class,
other's
no
throat.
balls.
No class, no balls between Espo and Eric here on PHNX Suns. Final thoughts as we wrap up our pre-game show going up against the Mavs tonight, Steven. Anything as far as trends that the Mavs follow that Suns fans should be looking out for tonight, even without Luka?
Yeah, Dallas is an early help team. So anytime someone's spaced off of a primary action, whether it's Bradley Beal or someone like Ryan Dunn or Josh Okogie, they don't care. They're going to concede to taking away and shrinking the floor on a primary action as much as possible and err on them rotating out of that and then dealing with that after taking away the primary part of the plate. So the Suns have to trust that pass and trust that the players catching that initial pass from a primary action will make the right decision in succession from there. If they knock down enough threes in this game, this should be one that they should win by double digits, but that's variance right now.
2 things for me. Play defense.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the baseline. If you don't, you're going to lose.
Yeah.
But I'd like to see Tyus Jones get a little bit more usage tonight. He is in the bottom 10%, according to Cleaning the Glass, of usage of point guards in the NBA right now. He's been great offensively. I'd like to see the ball a little bit more in his hands tonight, in particular because of the way that Dallas plays defense.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Defense is key. Kara says it best in the chat. That's where this team is going to establish their identity because they can walk into buckets, which we've seen from them before. I want to remind everybody before we head out here, yes, I've said it before, we have a post-game show, but also we are still doing our New Year's Eve sweet takeover on December 31st as the Phoenix Suns host the Memphis Grizzlies, food and drink included. It's an all-city top shelf event, a wonderful way to end out 2024, start the new year 2025 with good vibes with your favorite Suns podcast. Go to gophnx.com/events. Some tickets still available, but they're going fast, so make sure you sign up for that and see us out there on New Year's Eve. Everybody, appreciate all of you. And one more thing. Go ahead, Steven.
Hello, I let you get away with a lot, but I will not allow for you to put my name in the same sentence as Dak Prescott. That's disrespectful.
That is kind of crazy.
Well,
To me.
unless they're talking about your paycheck, then it's all right.
I mean,
We can talk about that off
Right? Then somebody says, hey, your paycheck and Dak Prescott's paycheck look an awful lot alike. I'm like, okay, cool.
Oh.
You can compare me to Dak Prescott.
Hey, hello in the chat says, then say something. He said
He did just say
he's
something.
saying that
That's
he
not a
see
lie.
you see what he says. He wants you to acknowledge
No,
it.
I'm not acknowledging all of that, but that's one that's going to get me to acknowledge it every time.
Safe to say hello. Your comments sometimes are falling flat. We appreciate all of you for being in here. Come back post game, have some fun, or commiserate with us. Either way, we'll be here, and we'll see you guys on the other side of this game. Enjoy basketball.
We all silly like the mayor.